It's very unfortunate that our residents become somewhat victims if they are misinformed or ill-informed about how the budget process works.
Palm Coast Mayor David Alfin says misinformation has run rampant as the budget process unfolded. It's left many wondering just how much more they'll be paying. Mayor Alfin says while a 15% increase will impact a small number of residents who recently moved to the city, the increase for most residents is much smaller.
The overwhelming majority of property value increases range between 3 and 4%. There are a small number relative to the total who moved here within the last 12 months and therefore unfortunately caught the top of the market both in valuation and now with the budget. So those few folks will pay more than the 3 or 4% that we're seeing around town.
On average, the 3 or 4% increase will equate to
$36. The majority of residents of the city of Palm Coast will pay on average $36 more this year than they did last year.
Alfin urged city residents to get more involved in the budget process earlier in the process. He says all of the materials are available at palmcoast.gov.
Make your own decision about the budget process. Don't listen to someone else. Look at the numbers and decide for yourself what are your priorities for our city.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. The soon-to-be fire chief in Palm Coast talks about the department's performance and its needs.
Kyle Berryhill is currently battalion chief, and he says there's 3 key measures they use to determine how the department's doing.
One is how often we're getting a pulse back when we do CPR. It doesn't mean that person necessarily wakes up and calls their friends again, but they went from not having a pulse to having a pulse. We think that's a measure of something working in our system. We also are trying to keep fires to the room of origin, which is kind of a national fire service standard. And so we're doing well there. And then we're also trying to prepare for the growth by ensuring that we're training the rank below for the rank above.
Berryhill says they're in need of new fire trucks, but equipping Station 22 presents a challenge.
City Council chose to purchase land to replace Station 22. We've been holding on to some apparatus that isn't as reliable because that station is really small. And so we had to address those needs, and we had to address them now because if we placed an order for a fire truck today, we wouldn't see it for 24 months. If we had to put a truck that would fit in Station 22, it would cost more because we'd have to customize it more. We would get less from it, and because it's specialized, it would break a little bit more often. And when it did break, we'd have to go find the parts, which is not fun.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Patchke.
We have the winners of the annual Palm Coast Photo Contest.
One exciting thing that our department gets to host every year is our annual photo contest. It runs through June and July, and we get to see the incredible talents of our city residents, and they submit photos all over Palm Coast for a variety of topics.
That's Brittany Kershaw, Director of Communications and Marketing, with over 900 plus photo submissions. The photos speak for themselves in capturing the people, the landscape, and the lifestyle of Palm Coast in the city's annual photo contest. Participants were allowed to submit up to 20 photos per person, with 5 chances to win as a grand prize category winner. The next annual photo contest will take place during the summer of 2023. All photos submitted must be taken within the Palm Coast city limits. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm JP Bazette.
What does it mean to transition to reentry?
Pastor Charles Solano of Open Door Recovery said that while there has been no set time for a person to be in recovery, transitioning them back into society is big.
Transition is the biggest piece. And once you have learned everything, to put the boots to the ground, as it were, you have to have a foundation and a structure behind you, a good paying job, and a support group.
Solano said the transition is at the back end of recovery. Recovery is where there are a lot of people to help and to support a person going through recovery and coming into reentry. Listen to Lifeline on Saturday morning at 9 here on WNZF or anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, Zach talks about his recovery and re-entry experience. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.